welcome back to Just Do You. And my face is back this time. I am on here because I want you to know it's important to me that I tell you how much I'm learning through doing this process. Creating these lessons has literally given me the ability to live the life that I wrote for myself 2 years ago when I was broken and was looking for a way to mend myself. So I literally rewrote my story and I am living it today. And what I'm sharing is how I have been able to do that. I gave up so very much, and by doing so, my entire family has had to make so many sacrifices. And I don't want you to think for a single second that I feel like I'm living a perfect life, because that's not it. I am living a life that is mine, and I'm living a life that is getting better every day. I nor any of us have a perfect life, but we can all continue the journey to better ourselves and to have a better life and to find happiness. So I'm doing that by redefining myself, or I should say I did that by redefining myself, literally. And this is for me as much as it is for you. If you watched my first episodes, then you know what I'm talking about when I say get your notebook out. This lesson is one of the hardest lessons that you will ever learn. And even though you learn it, doesn't mean you're good at it. I'm still practicing. This week's lesson is called Forgive. Thank you for watching, and I cannot express to you how excited I get when I see new viewers, even though I don't know who it is. YouTube doesn't tell me who it is. But every time I get new viewers, I stop and I say a little prayer that something that I said is going to bless you in a way that you needed for that day. So thank you for practicing with me, and I'm going to get started on today's lesson called Forgiveness. No, forgive. Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, just a teacher and a real estate broker in North Carolina. So if you need me, you give me a call. Everyone thinks forgiveness is a lovely idea until he has something to forgive. I remember a very old friend of mine reminding me that forgiveness was for me. And it was at a time when I wasn't ready to hear that. That just makes you more frustrated to hear when you feel very justified in being angry enough with someone enough to hate them. It's hard. Some would even say impossible to forgive some things. The weak can never forget. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Well, dang, Gandhi, are you calling me weak? Because right in the heat of hating someone is not the time to have a discussion on weakness, right? You don't know what I'm having to forgive, right? Well, I never knew how strong I was until I had to forgive someone who wasn't sorry and accept an apology that I never received. Forgive others not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve peace. 2 years it's taken me to get this point of view and feel strong again. Let no man pull you low enough to hate him. 2 years. It would take too long to explain all of that. So that's why I'm writing these lessons and sharing them. Truth is, you can't be happy until you choose to be. Forgiveness just sort of started happening with me when I decided to find my happy. Redefining myself on purpose and with purpose began the process of forgiving without my even being aware that it was happening. So go back, look at the episodes in order, and it will teach you how I did this. Forgiveness heals. Revenge steals. To forgive is to set a prisoner free and then discover that that prisoner was you. Forgiveness is not about letting someone off the hook for their actions, but forgiveness is freeing ourselves of those negative energies that bind us to them. When you choose to forgive those who have hurt you, you're taking away their power. Forgiveness is the best revenge. Life becomes easier when you learn to accept an apology you never got. And life also becomes easier, y'all, with time. Life becomes easier when you learn to accept an apology. Acceptance, the action of consenting to take or receive something offered. Acceptance is a huge part of forgiveness. You know, in the past episodes, we've talked a lot about absolute values and you being able to recognize absolute values, see answers for what they are and maybe not what you think they should be. Accepting that no apology will ever come is kind of how you begin to forgive. Isn't that crazy? But in order to heal a wound, you need to stop touching it. Forgiveness means giving up all hope for a better past. Process that. Accepting creates forgiveness, and forgiveness means giving up all hope for a better past. If there were no wrongdoing, there would be no forgiveness. And everybody makes mistakes in life, y'all, but that doesn't mean that they have to pay for them for the rest of their life. Sometimes good people make bad choices. Doesn't mean that they're bad. It means that they're human. Things don't happen for no reason. They happen to teach you something. Now, I have to tell you, this bothers me the way that it's written, but I totally agree with their concept. You know, sometimes when terrible things happen, and people will tell you, oh, everything happens for a reason, that's not really true. It's not like everything's predetermined and predestined to happen that way. Well, you know what, that's my opinion. Maybe it is. But what I've learned is, when you look back at those bad circumstances, they happened. There has to be a reason that they happened. You have to give them a reason for happening. Don't accept that they happened for a reason. You find the reason that they happened, and you learn the reason they happened. And then you learn from that mistake. You learn. I forgive, but y'all, I also learn a lesson. I won't hate you, but I'll never get close enough for you to hurt me again if you've done it once. I can't let my forgiveness become foolishness. You get that. The most difficult battles in life are those we fight within. Only you know when you're ready to forgive. Try not to spread your anger while you are learning to forgive. And y'all, forgiving is not just about the person who did the wrong deed. Sometimes you have to forgive yourself for allowing that person to hurt you. Forgiving yourself is as important as forgiving other people. Y'all, guilt is toxic. Reliving that mistake over and over. You gotta love yourself. You gotta forgive yourself. Understand you're gonna make mistakes. Forgive yourself for not having the foresight to know what now seems so obvious in hindsight. And y'all, if you offend, ask for a pardon. If you get offended, forgive. You can forgive and move on. Forgiving doesn't mean that you have to remain in that same situation. You can leave that situation and not harbor hate in your heart. Forgive those who insult you, attack you, belittle you, or take you for granted. But more than this, forgive yourself for allowing them to hurt you. The first to apologize is the bravest. The first to forgive is the strongest. And the first to forget is the happiest. Doesn't mean forget that it happened. Doesn't mean forget how bad it hurt and why it hurt. But what you have to forget is your old way of thinking that every wrong has to be righted and that there is an end to every solution, or to every question there is a solution. Sometimes if you want closure, you have to write it yourself. If you want happiness, you have to create it. Write your own happy ending. Happiness is never decreased by sharing it. Think about that, because most everything else is. You share your food, you get less. You share your water, you get less. You share your happiness, you get more. And the miracle is, the more we share, the more we have. We are not cisterns made for hoarding. We are channels made for sharing. Don't hoard your feelings. Don't hoard your experiences. Don't hoard your hatred. You've got to share with others your journey, your story, your feelings. And a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. There is this nobility in compassion, and there's such beauty in empathy, but there's grace in forgiveness. True forgiveness is when you can actually say, thank you for that experience. I learned so much. Thank you. Bottom line, life is short, so don't hold back. Forgive like you have amnesia. Believe like a kid. Love like crazy, and be your doggone self. If you want to support me, share me. Please share me with anybody that you think might need a pick-me-up. These are your resources. I have Randolph County here. I also, have Pooh. Where did it go? Sorry. I also have Davidson County here. And I have the National Institute of Mental Health. If you need help, you call one of these places. I love you. Be good. Work on that forgiveness.